Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another Digital Airstrike Facebook Live broadcast. We're also broadcasting to YouTube as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a really interesting show today, and it's not really about stats or numbers or anything like that. We're going to be talking to some frontline people at a dealership group to find out what their year has been like and what they do to sell more cars during a very interesting year. And we have some great personalities to share with you. As a matter of fact, on the screen now, you will see me with Chip Diggs. Chip Diggs is the Director of Internet Sales and Marketing at Seelye Automotive Group. It's a 5-rooftop group with 6 franchises serving Southwest Michigan. So why does Seelye Auto Group do what they do with their salespeople? I'm sorry, they don't call them salespeople. They call them customer care advocates. That's right. We're going to be meeting 3 of them today, and they each have different personas. They've each taken those personas and use them to sell cars. They do it on social media, and they have a huge following, and we're going to find out how fervent their following is. But for right now, let me tell you a little bit more about Chip Diggs, because we're going to talk about his auto group and find out what they've been doing in a very unprecedented year in the automotive industry. So first, with Chip Diggs, he began his auto career in 1989 at a small Oldsmobile dealership in Jackson, Michigan. He's held titles of finance, sales, and general manager through his 31-year automotive career. Wow. He became intrigued with online sales after being introduced to GM Buy Power in the year 2000, and he successfully began selling vehicles online in 2004, and in 2007 dedicated his career to mastering automotive sales in the digital world. He believes the automotive dealership landscape has huge changes coming in the next 5 to 10 years. Heck, there's been huge changes just this year, and continually works towards making sure his group and anyone who listens will be ready for those changes. Chip Diggs, how are you, my friend? How are you, sir? It's so good to finally broadcast with you.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the invite. We love it.
Oh, my goodness. Seelye Auto Group has been doing some amazing things this year, and I'm constantly surprised by the pivot that dealerships have been doing during this COVID-19 era that we're all in. And, started off great in January and February, took a nosedive in March and April, and then we've been seeing a steady upswing. And here we are in Q4. So, Chip, I just want to spend, before we bring in some of our other guests that you have for us today, I just want to spend a number of minutes just talking about what Seelye Auto Group has been experiencing during this, interesting year, and what kind of things have you been doing in the digital world to really sell cars during a year where the consumer journey has really changed in just the last 6 or so months? Chip, let's talk about it. First, how are things going over there at Seelye Auto Group?
Things are going great. You're 100% on the money when you start talking about the year of 2020. We were on pace in January and February to break every record that we had ever had at Seelye Auto Group. And then obviously March came and COVID hit. And everybody just kind of shut down, got scared, walked away. And I think everybody looked at it the same way. What happens next? I mean, obviously the car business is a one-on-one business. You come see me, come to my dealership, we'll help you buy a car or sell you a car. And obviously that dynamic changed. Nobody wanted to go out. Nobody wanted to come in the store. As a matter of fact, even if we wanted people to come in, the government shut us down. So we had to totally, and it's not a pivot, it was an about face and try to figure out how to now navigate through the changes that were in front of us. Because even when Michigan opened back up, it was remote. So primarily what they said to dealers were, you can sell cars if you can do it remotely. You can bring a car to a customer, you can do things outside quickly, but as far as your showrooms, they have to be closed. And that was a definite eye-opening experience for any dealer that was out there, because if you weren't ready to have that conversation with a customer that way, you were just lost. And one of the things about the way I've always seen this business is that we've always done things a little bit differently than I would want to buy a car if I was buying a car. And
What do
that is
you
that
mean
whole,
differently than the way you would buy a car? Wait a minute.
the whole spend couple of 3 or 4 hours in a dealership to buy a car, and the negotiating part of it has never been anything that I've been a fan of. I don't think if you talk to any salespeople or customers, they'd say that either. They hate that part of it. It takes so long to buy a car. So what COVID showed us is that we could actually do a lot more of this work outside of the dealership, and then do the final transaction there at the dealership or outside very quickly. And that made some serious changes have to happen. But for most dealers, I think we've heard about things like digital retailing and things that we've needed to gravitate towards. But COVID pushed it on us, said, okay, here you are. If you want to do anything, you're going to have to embrace this. And so we were ready for it, and embraced it. And we've taken off. I can tell you that the month of June was probably the best month the Auto Group has seen in years. We sold
Wow.
close to 700 vehicles for our group, which is up from an average of around 500 that will sell 550 each month. So that was strong for us. Great response from consumers. But we realized that this was more than just telling customers, hey, we've got a great deal for you. It was more how we're going to take care of you. And that's what the whole message has been since the whole COVID thing has come out.
So did you start doing digital retailing before 2020? Did you even have a little piece of it? Or did you all go full bore, once you decided something had to be done and there was no alternative for you?
So I have been looking at digital retailing for years, way back, probably 8 years ago, 9 years ago. There was a couple of companies that came out and said, hey, we can put this kind of information on your website. Would you be interested in it? And I can't remember the name of the tool that we used originally, but I know the DealerTrack had a tool, and then another tool came out and was bought by AutoTrader. And that was what I was familiar with. And I've been preaching that for a long time. I'm that guy who believes that we should sell cars the way Amazon sells product. A customer should go online, click a couple of buttons, get the information, look at a couple of reviews, check out. Now, obviously, it's a lot harder than that with cars because you have trade-ins, you have people wanting to take test drives. But one of the things that we saw is that Carvana, don't talk about them, but Carvana actually
They're a bad name.
They came into the markets and they let us know that it could be done. And we believe that. But we have an advantage over Carvana or Vroom or any of those guys. And that's that's one of the things we'll talk about today is people and what our people do, what our people bring to the table, more so than just keyboards and keystrokes and a digital retailing piece. So.
Well, okay, because we are going to get to talking about that. Oh, look at this. Jay, who's going to be joining us, he's our actual final guest today. He's one of the salespeople over at Seelye. He says, 100% right, Chip. COVID forced us to evolve faster to where the buying process was trending anyway. And let's be honest, no person who's going to spend that amount of money, or really any amount of money, wants to be caught in a place that's going to take them an hour, 2 hours, and in my case, 6 hours to buy a car sitting in a dealership. It's just insane. So whatever the industry can do to lower that, I'm just curious, Chip. I know you and I didn't discuss this beforehand, but let's just say the average time, and from what I understand, the average time in a dealership is around 4 hours and 45 minutes to buy a car. What did you get it down to now? I mean, the funny part is if you do everything online and now the customer just comes in for the fun part, literally sign, drive away with the car. So now what is it down to? Do you have that information?
Yeah, so we're approximately down to about an hour and a half for any transaction that we have. As a matter of fact, if we get longer than that and long-winded in our dealings with a customer, we kind of look at that. We say, hey, this customer seemed to be here for a long period of time. What happened? What was the breakdown? Let's investigate what that is. Our guys understand one thing. Their job is to not sell a car. Selling cars, to me, at least in my mindset, has been over with for years. Customers have a lot of information out there. What they're trying to do is validate the information that they're finding online. And what our job is to do is to help them validate it, make sure it works for them, and move through the process. You can do a lot of that online. When you do it online, when you have those conversations, when you go out and video a car, give them information up front where they don't have to chase you down for it, they come in with their guard down, ready to move forward, more so than, a person who has to sit there for 3 hours. Think about it this way. A lot of times when we look at transactions, the biggest thing that happens that we see that was a delay was a consumer comes in, test drives a car, and then after they test drive the car, the next step is to appraise the car. Okay, we've got to appraise the car now. Well, think about it. Why wouldn't you appraise the car when they're out on a test drive with the salesperson? Why wait for them to come back? That should all have been handled. When that customer comes back from a test drive, numbers should be ready to be presented. They should be ready. Your manager should be ready. Whoever presents the numbers to just be done with it. And it really is a matter of fact. Think about it this way. If a customer sees a car online for a price, they know what the price is. They know it's not like it's going to be a mystery. So why is that negotiation have to take so long? They already knew. All you have to do is explain to them how the numbers are, how you came up with them. Here's where your trade is. This is why it's worth what it is. Here's how you can finance or lease the vehicle, and let us know when you'd like to take delivery of the vehicle. That's pretty much it. If you really believe that you've done everything right, moving to that point. Now, if you're trying to still figure everything out beforehand, that's when the process breaks down. That's when things take a long time. But that shouldn't happen anymore if you're actually living in the digital world.
So now we're talking about what happens in the dealership. But in order to win the customer to your dealership, there's a lot of stuff that Seelye Auto Group does online with their individual salespeople in order to make that magic happen. And for a lot of dealers out there, hell, a lot of businesses out there, that is where the real race is to get that consumer attention and to say, yes, I'm the business that you want to do business with. So how are you doing that? How did you come up with this customer care advocate instead of a salesperson? Because let's be honest, saying you're a car salesperson doesn't really score you a lot of points in the average world, but this doesn't mean it has to be that way. The people that you have working at Seelye Auto Group have made these individual personas, and people follow them on social media, and they're hungry for the content that these individuals are putting out there. And it's amazing to see. It's great to see. Why are you doing it? What made you decide to do it? How are you doing it? What kind of tools are you training them to do this? I have so many questions. Chip, can you tell me anything?
Well, it's interesting. And it really started out with our owner. And I gotta give him all the credit for this. Mickey Seelye, when he's a third generation dealer. Okay. So grandfather, father, now we have Mickey Seelye. 40 years old, sharp guy, college grad, the whole 9 yards. But he perceived the business a little bit differently than his father did, and I'm sure his grandfather did. And one of the things he was really insistent upon with everybody in the auto group is that we receive reviews for how we interacted with customers. He saw this as the backbone of doing business because he understood one thing. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what you say. It matters what other people say about how they feel the transaction went. And so we built upon that. We decided, hey, you're right. Let's get a lot of reviews. And the reviews were going great, but the reviews said, Seelye this, Seelye that, which is great. But that's not the individual that they bought the car from. They bought the company, Seelye sold them the car, but an individual sold them the vehicle, whether it be a Jay or a Megan or a Ginny or a Johnny or whoever. Those folks sold them the car. Those are the people that they had the interaction with. So as we started thinking about this and talking about it more and more, our premise was to get the salespeople involved in the review process and say, hey, when you're asking for the review from the customer to truly rate how the transaction went, can you mention me in the review? Absolutely. Why wouldn't they want to review and then mention you in? I bought my car from XYZ at Seelye. That all turned the corner when we started working with Jonathan Dawson. So Jonathan Dawson started to teach us to have personas for our salespeople. I don't know if you want to call him an alter ego or call him whatever it is, a Superman. I'm Clark Kent, but I'm really Superman. And that really took off with a couple of our people, and they really felt akin to, hey, you know what? How do I want these people to reference me? We have a gentleman at our dealership. They call him Hollywood. And whenever you see a review on there, it's Eric Hollywood, Harrington. These are the kind of things that we wanted to have happen. So it was a push from the dealer to say, hey, we really need to pay attention to what consumers see about us online in reviews. The second part is to make sure that the salespeople were mentioned in them. And third was Jonathan Dawson to have a persona of not just I'm Megan, I'm this person. And that really took off because it clings and it clicks, and people really start to understand and gravitate towards that. But an interesting part about that is that consumers liked it. Consumers got a giggle or a laugh, and what happens is it makes you real, and that's what we miss in this business sometimes. Sometimes this comes down to transactions. That's what we do all the time. We have a customer that wants something, and we have what they want, and then we do a transaction. But what about all the things that happen in the middle? What about that personal experience? And so when we look at places like Carvana and Vroom and all those other things, we said, how do we separate? Well, we separate that through the personal experience, the things that we can do inherently and work as a team together to get people to really believe in us as people and see us as people, not just a dealership.
I mean, the old saying goes, you buy from people you like, right? So how do you get people to like you? And I'm just curious, we're going to be starting to bring in one of your guests in just a moment. But I wanted to know this strategy of yours. Let's call it a strategy. Has this helped your dealership? How has it helped you sell more cars? From what I understand, because of all of these public personas from all of your dealerships and your dealer groups, you've become known in your cities as a dealership who cares for its customers and provides needed information and to those people interested in vehicles, and even really involved in the communities in which those dealerships are in, which is awesome. How long did it take? Does it really help? Does it help sell cars? Does it move more metal?
Absolutely. You have to invest, not just in your dealership in the building, but in the community that you serve. And if you don't, you lose tremendously. I mean, we are probably more active in our community than I would say any other auto group out there. Not just that we have a building named after us on the Western Michigan campus, but actually involved in day-to-day things. We have people at our auto group from mechanics to lot porters that will go out to the homeless and take food out to them. That was actually reported on the news.
Wow.
Salespeople that were helping to bring food to people during COVID. We don't want to let's just face it. Anybody can sell a car. Any dealership can sell a car, but not everybody can be part of the community. And that's really what we have in our mindset as our auto group. We're servants, and we know that. Our managers serve our salespeople. Our ownership serves our managers. Our salespeople serve the customers that walk in. And when you really, really ingrain that and believe in that and hire people that share that kind of value with you, selling cars is easy. It truly, it isn't about gross profit. It isn't about all that. It's about helping someone in their time of want or need. And that's what we're all about. And that's where it comes from. A community, and you'll see this, but a community belief that we are the community. Our guys go to churches here. Our kids go to schools here. We live and breathe who we are in Kalamazoo, Paw Paw, and the areas that we serve. And when you do that, like I said, it makes your job so much easier. And people know you. And there's people who know the guys that work at our auto group.
Oh my gosh, I love everything you just said. And you did say, and I'm going to quote you now, you said anyone can sell a car.
Anyone.
That might be true. That might be true with the proper training. We're going to talk a little bit about training with our very first guest. Her name is Megan, the Dream Maker Edwards. Hey, Megan, how are you?
How are you guys? I'm good.
Now, I don't know a lot about your background, but I'm going to tell you all you need to know right now about Megan, the Dream Maker Edwards. And now I laughed because at first I was like, I'm going to call you Megan the Stallion. But after I found out this stat, I'm going to say, geez, Megan the Unicorn. Forget Dream Maker. Megan is in her second month of auto sales. Never sold a car before a month ago. And what makes her so special is not only is she providing amazing customer care in her first month as a customer care advocate, 16 cars. She sold 16 cars. That is a feat worth celebrating. I am so excited. That is not normal. For those of you who are not in the auto industry, I'm just going to let you know, that is absolutely not normal. People work for years to get up to 16. If you get up to the level where you're selling 30, you're a rock star status. She's already on her way in the first month. That's insane. Megan, brava. Little lady. As somebody who's on the board of Women in Automotive, I am just so thrilled. So my very first question to you is, why did you choose to get into the auto industry? And why did you choose to start on the sales side? What was it about the auto industry that brought you? And then after that, Chip, how did you get her? Who saw her that said, yeah, she's the one we want?
Honestly, I never thought of myself as getting into sales ever.
Really?
Yeah.
You seem to have taken to it.
Yeah, and my family, since I was just little, the way that I talked to people, they always told me, get into sales, you should sell cars, you should sell something sales oriented. And I really, as a teenager, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then I got this opportunity, Stan and Chip and my management team here gave me this opportunity, and I'm so grateful for it. I was a cashier. I've been a cashier with the Auto Group for the last several years, and I've kind of been on the front lines of seeing sales and all of that. And it just got to a point of where I wanted to, look into doing something different. And I went and talked to them, and I was given this awesome opportunity, and I'm so grateful for it. And I just love it. I'm going to be here for a long, long time.
Wow. It seems to be working out. I'm not going to. Okay. So you were already at the group, and then you said, I think I want to make more money, do something else. So they put you through training, right?
Yes.
Which is very, very interesting to me, because a lot of times dealerships are like, okay, here's the cars. When people show up at the dealership, try and sell them a car. They don't really do a lot of training. So first of all, how long was the training? And then let's talk about what that training was like. Was it intensive? What kind of tools? And Chip, I also want to get with you about what kind of tools you do provide somebody who's brand new to this, like Megan, so that they can really succeed. So Megan, what was the training like?
The training, it was really interesting. So we would be given different opportunities, as we like to call them, of speaking with customers and kind of supplying them with the information that they are asking for to make an educated buying decision, and just kind of, I don't know, learning a way to talk to them. We're not trying to sell them. We're trying to just supply them with what they need to purchase. And it was just, I don't know. It was nice. I wouldn't even call it training. It's a lot of fun. This job is supposed to be a lot of fun and learning new things and not being like the standard salesman, And so it's just interesting what we did. We actually, instead of kind of just calling them, we would send out a video to our customers and kind of show them who we are. I think I have a sample video of that. If you guys wanted to show it, just kind of showing like, oh, hey, it's me, and that's kind of how we start to introduce ourselves to our customers.
Okay, let's show.
Hey, Megan here from Seelye Ford in Kalamazoo. Just wanted to send you a video to introduce myself and show you what I look like. If you have any questions, in the meantime, please don't hesitate to call. My cell phone number is 269-220-2922. Thank you.
I love that. It kind of puts your face into customers' heads. I just, if they decide to walk in, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I saw you. I'm like, yeah, you did. And then it kind of starts there, and we supply them the information needed. I really don't want somebody to have to come all the way into the dealership to get the information that they that they want and that they're asking for. So I'll also make like full-on videos of vehicles with me in the video again, just to show them again what I look like. And that's another way of, giving them the information needed, but kind of in a different way rather than just email or text or phone call. You kind of have to figure out the person's love language and how they will talk to you and how you need to talk to them, which is also a big training tip here too. So
you said love language. I like it. Okay. So most dealerships do not still do video in their lead response.
Mm-mm.
So we're saying Seelye is all for video and lead response. Yes,
absolutely. And I love it. It's just, it's different. Nobody's doing this. And I don't know why. It's such a good, if there was any tip I could give any dealer, send your customers videos. It's such a different way to give them the information needed. And it's like a person, it shows your personality. It's a good first impression tool. It's just, I like it a lot. I'm very grateful that I was taught that right from the get-go, because it's just been so helpful. It's really led to my success, and I'm grateful for it.
And Chip, have you felt that adding video to your lead response has increased that engagement from consumers?
Absolutely. And if anybody knows me, when we start talking about working with clients, the first thing I say is stop trying to sell a car and start working on engagement. Mm-hmm. Because you'll never, ever help a customer buy a car until they have a conversation with you. And we are truly into the conversation business. When Megan said that she's out and doing a video of a car and really just getting them to know who she is as a person, seeing her face, that people are scared. The customer is scared before they walk in or talk to us, and they're scared about getting taken advantage of. And what we try to do is get them to drop all of that. See us as real people, mm-hmm. Understand that we're here to serve them and help them. And that thing that, Megan, we loved about Megan when I first started talking to her, Megan doesn't tell the story all the way.
Really?
She's actually leaving to go to work for Verizon, to work in the phone store, whatever. And I said, what are you going to do? And so, because one of the things that we miss in the automotive industry and in businesses altogether is understanding that people want to move along in their career. And sometimes we designate them for being an office person when they have aspirations of doing something else. And we heard that loud and clear when she said she was leaving. And I talked to her 1 or 2 times and said, there's no way we're letting this person go. She is too much of an asset to let her go. We have to find a way to keep her. And that's what we did. We worked hard. Don't let her kid you as, it was an opportunity. No, we worked hard to keep her because we understand great talent, and she is absolutely a talent.
Excellent. Aw. Okay. Before we move on to our next guest, I did want to ask Megan, mm-hmm. What's your social persona like? Now, I know your nickname is the Dream Maker.
Yes, I'm in the business to put dreams in driveways. That is for sure. I love it. I don't know. I want to make people's dreams come true. It's not about the whole making money thing like with sales that is standard. People think sales is about. I want to see people jump with joy and drive away so happy that they don't know what to do with themselves. I want to make their dreams happen.
Okay, so you do put out videos of just you being at Seelye Auto Group. Come on down, mm-hmm. Check out this cool car.
Yes. Yes. Like when we were doing some Bronco training, I made a cool video of that Bronco, and that was just because the Bronco's been, the talk about the town for a long time now. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to show people this vehicle, get them excited and make their dreams come true, because so many people are so excited for this.
Okay. All right. Megan, I wish you incredible success, my friend. I'm looking forward to seeing you at a Women in Automotive conference. You keep going, girl. Starting off strong. I love it. Thank you so much for being here. We'll catch up with you at the end of the show. Okay. Okay, Chip, real fast, because we didn't talk about this earlier, but I definitely want to make sure, because it is a big selling point for Seelye. Commissions for your salespeople, customer care advocates. Can you talk about that real fast before we bring in our second guest?
Absolutely. So one of the things we found out after talking to salespeople, after trying to hire people, the one thing that we fail to do as dealer bodies is to get good people. And we don't get good people because there's no structure to how they're getting paid. By that, I mean, you sell this car and hope to make some money based on how much you sold the car for. We took that completely out of the picture.
What?
We pay all of our sales associates, customer care advocates, a salary. And then we do a bonus program for the amount of units that are sold each month. Don't worry about how much gross profit you're making. Don't worry about any of that. Just worry about serving the customer. What we found out by doing that is that when you're asking salespeople to train, when you're asking people to do videos, when you're asking people to do things that are outside of selling a car, they're more apt to do them because they understand that this is part of the requirement of getting that salary, opposed to that old adage of, I'm here to sell cars and that's what I'm here to do. And so it really changed the whole persona. Our people love it. Absolutely, totally love it. And who loves it even more is accounting.
Well, I was going to say that must have been such a relief when coronavirus first hit this year. And there were a lot of salespeople like, well, how am I going to pay the bills? But even more so than that, I mean, yes, you always absolutely need to take care of your own people. I'm going to say from a consumer standpoint, that really brings the wall down when you say, hey, I don't make commission on this sale. Let's just get you the car that's right for you. Wow. Right. What a difference.
Absolutely. And people love it. And just to, go over Corona, we talk about our ownership. Our ownership during COVID, when we had to close down, we paid all of our salespeople. We paid them. There was no shortage of, you're not going to get, you all got paid every single day, every week through. We wanted to make sure that our people understood we're in this together. That was a big step. A lot of dealers wouldn't do something like that. Didn't even cross anybody's mind. We're going to pay them. We'll all work through this together, which was awesome. So,
wow, that is amazing. Speaking of amazing, we got another guest to share for you. And I love his nickname. First of all, let's welcome in Kyle Shirley, the weatherman. And you might be asking, why would a weatherman sell cars? Well, we're going to find out in just a moment. Kyle, how are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. A little nervous. First time really being live. I've had a lot of my friends and family I kind of jump out to, but not really strangers yet. I guess strangers, but I don't know. It's nerve-wracking.
No. I mean, for as much time as you spend on video, on social media, I can't imagine this would be too much different. And by the way, I just want to make sure, do you sell Fords?
You know what? Contrary to popular belief, I do actually sell Fords. I'm one of the new car advocates out there when it comes to being a brand persona. I love selling new cars because there's really nothing more exciting than having someone tell you that I wasn't planning on buying a car today and I wound up buying a brand new car because of you. And it's an amazing experience. That right there almost pays me alone, just because it's like being on a roller coaster, but without the fear of heights. It's pretty cool.
Oh, okay. I like it. Okay. So a couple things that you brought up. First of all, you brought up your persona, the weatherman, and I would love to know how you came up with that one. It has nothing to do with car sales. So as I understand it, we have a video example of how you came up with the weatherman persona. It was kind of thrust upon you.
Yeah.
Well deserved, my friend. Let's check out this video.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the weatherman out here, and I want to let you know that there's a 60% chance that it's already raining outside. I think there's a storm a brewing. I'm not quite sure. But anyway.
So you were basically out there in the lot, rain pelting your face, and you were like, hey, it's a beautiful day to come down and buy a car.
I mean, one of the biggest things, so I guess to start out, I bought a car myself, which is how I started working here. And I literally got turned down from a dealership because they didn't want to ask questions or really work with me. They felt like I was difficult when I was like, hey, I don't know how to get from this car into another car because I currently owned a car. And they were like, well, sorry, we don't work with that. And so I had to get into my car that was breaking down and drive somewhere else. I just ended up driving into Seelye Ford, and I had a gentleman already waiting outside for me saying, hey, come on, I will solve your problem. And after, it was actually pretty short. This was about 2 years ago, and it didn't seem like it was a lot of time back then. But now being into the facility, learning the different steps that it takes, we've gotten to basically like a saying here, I can provide you all the information within 45 minutes. It's up to you to decide the rest of the time, but I can show you a car. I can show you how to buy the car. I can show you all the processes and let you know proactively what the next step is. That way you're not sitting there twiddling your thumbs, waiting if you should be asking a question or if you should be doing something yourself. I pretty much take you under my wing. I tell you exactly how it's going to be from start to finish. I let you know what the next step is. And at any point in time, you can stop and say, hey, look, can we pick this up? I got to get some food, or I got to get my kids, or, hey, I can't be at the dealership today. I make it where I provide solutions rather than just, oh, well, sorry about your bad luck. You're staying here. And that's how it used to be. And I feel like everybody who's been in the car dealership knows that when you can actually make a friend, it's so much easier to provide a transaction. That's really what it is. You don't go into a restaurant and be nervous because you don't know what's on the menu. They provide a menu for you. So me being the weatherman, I provide a menu for you. This is what's on the docket. This is how much it's going to be. This is how much it's going to take. That way you're like, okay, well, I'll just choose that one and let's go. And it's that simple. It's that easy. Now your nerves are down. And it's like an event. You're buying something, like going to a concert. You don't do it often. Some people have this hunk of metal that provides transportation and safety for their family for years to come. They should have to feel safe and secure in the process along after they've long gone.
Beautiful words, Kyle. I do want to point out, with your weatherman persona, even though you have all these great videos online and you are known in your area as the weatherman, you're like the un-car salesman. Like you're not really pushing. You're not pushing. And I notice you're not wearing a suit and tie like most dealership car guys do. Now we saw the impetus for the nickname, the weatherman, but can you talk a little bit more about your persona and the un-car salesman like things that you do that really just endears you to your following?
So my entire, family was all factory, and I felt like I was pretty much destined to be in a factory. Shoot, for the first couple jobs I had, I was the fourth generation of being at Welch's, which was a bottling juice factory.
Yes.
And everything I had learned from my parents, this is what we do. This is how you earn a living. Working should be working hard. And it just wasn't for me. I knew deep down, like, I'm a people person. I can get out there and my biggest talent was I could make a friend with anybody. I literally could be a chameleon when it comes to different types of avenues of where people came from in life. And when I did do this, I found out that there's a predominantly large factory base demographic here in Kalamazoo. And for the first couple of months, I could not sell a car because I was being something that I'm not. I am not a car salesman. I'm not. Like, as much product knowledge as I know and the way that they kind of trained me in the beginning, it just did not fit with my personality. And I was basically fighting against the system. I had a manager who said, dude, stop being a salesman. Be a factory worker. Be you, and people will buy from you because you're not a salesperson. And I went out and I bought suits for every day of the week because I was like, this is who I'm going to be. And nobody wanted to buy from someone in a suit. No one wants to buy someone who's got jewelry and glam because it seems like you're getting taken advantage of. So one day for my birthday, my dad bought me this Ford jacket. I put it on, and with a collared shirt, I made sure I'm presentable. And I walk in, and miraculously, someone had picked me out of a crowd of people and was like, hey, I guarantee you know something about Ford. And I was like, yeah, come sit down. And that I became as one of the most influential Ford product knowledge activists out there. Like, if you need to know something about towing weight or this about a vehicle, F-150 Explorer. The guy who's wearing a Ford jacket is probably going to be able to tell you the answer without having to go ask someone or look at Google what the answer is. Mickey, my owner, loves calling me the weatherman. He's like, hey, what's the weather out like? When your owner gets behind your persona, it just gives you a little bit more like flexibility on what you can do. He's given me the computers, the product, everything. And he's like, build your brand, build your business, build your brand, do whatever you want, be happy with it. And I guarantee sales will follow. And that's true. Like, just having a phone call with a customer several months after they bought from me just to see how everything's going goes a long way. I mean, videos is one thing, emails is another, texting, but to be in your phone, your personal cell phone as the weatherman, not Kyle dealership, not salesperson, but the weatherman, it makes it so cool. Like, I had people that are like, hey, I'm looking for the guy that tells the weather or the weather channel. And it's like, oh, you're looking for Kyle Shirley. He's over here. And it's right up front. Like, you don't even have to get my whole name right, but everybody at the dealership knows that if you're looking for the weather, you come to the weatherman.
That's so true.
That's awesome. Okay, real fast, because we do have one more guest to get to, but real fast, Kyle, could you give salespeople out there just maybe your best piece of advice on maybe something that they could be doing that could really help them move more metal, sell more cars?
Mindset. Too often do we sit here at our desk and twiddle our thumbs and look out because, well, I don't have anybody to sell today. If you change your mindset and ask yourself, what's it like on the other side of the desk? Why did I not come into you or come into your dealership for one reason or another? Once you can find that at the source and start generating your own customer fan base, fan advocates, where now when people go on Facebook, they literally type in, hey, who should I go and talk to about a car? Because that's where you're going to go. You're going to talk to your family. You're going to talk to your friends. It's very seldom you're going to just be like, hey, I'm going to buy a car today. You probably ask for reassurance, someone who's probably bought a car before, who they should go see, who they should go talk to. And it starts at being a salesman on your mindset. Don't think of it being a customer. Think of you selling your grandparents. Think of you selling your girlfriend or your best friend. What kind of great lengths would you go in order to help them, just like how you would help a stranger? And we don't help strangers very often. That's why people at our dealership go and support giving food drives to the homeless. We go and do that. It's not because we're going to generate a car sale from a homeless person. It's because deep down we know it's going to help someone, and just helping someone feels a whole lot better than sitting at your desk and having that poor mindset of, you know what, I didn't sell a car today. Now I got to go home and talk about how I didn't sell a car. It's how do you make a friend? How do you help someone? And in return, that's your reward, is that you will be selling a car.
That is so
Preach it, baby. Preach it. All right, Kyle, the weatherman, Shirley. People can follow you on social media, yes?
Hashtag the weatherman. That's all it is.
Perfect. We'll catch up with you at the end of the show. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Yeah.
Of wisdom. All right. Wow. Chip, you got some great people on your team, man. You picked 3 amazing rock stars. Anything you want to say about Kyle before we get to our final guest today?
Well, the one thing I think you'll hear as a theme with our guys is that the sale is the end byproduct of everything else you do. You do all the stuff right in the beginning. The car sale is the easy part. So it's great to hear them.
The car sale is the easy part. There's a lot of
It
people
is.
who don't agree with that. No,
Really
that's
fun.
funny that you say that. Okay, so we already met 2 amazing rock stars. Now we're going to get to the one who arguably might just have the biggest personality out there. Let's talk to Jay, the caring car guy, Rustenholtz.
How are you? Hey, Chip, how are you?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Super fantastic. I'm crammed back in here. I locked the door so no one else would bother me. I know this was important, so I'm back here in a kind of a vacant office away from my desk where I spoke to you last. Actually, you saw my big backdrop, kind of like what you guys got going on.
Yes.
I unfortunately don't have that behind me here, but I'm setting aside some time to hang out with you guys and looking forward to helping.
Just so you know, Jay's office on the showroom floor has no door. It has a red carpet. It's got a rope, but we needed him in a closed space. So we made him broadcast from this office. Jay, thank you so much for joining us today. All right. So you are the infamous caring car guy, and you have a tremendous following. But before we get to your following, I do want to say, Jay, you are known because you are featured in the local news a lot of times. You organize events in the community. You partner with local businesses. And yeah, you have a really large social media presence. Why? Like, when did the mindset, as Kyle had said, when did it come about? How did you come up with the caring car guy? Just talk to us.
For sure. So I'll give you the very short version, I guess, not the mini series version of kind of the genesis. That could take us a whole hour in of itself. But so kind of like Chip, I've been in the business not for 31 years, which I didn't know that, Chip. You look amazing for being in the business for 31 years. By now, my hair would be falling out and I'd be wrinkled and gray and just like, anyone who's watching this and who's been in the business for any period of time, they know how stressful it can be, especially, in the management part of the business, which is where I came out of, was out of management. I spent the last 5 years up until July of last year in management. I promoted myself back to sales. And yes, I said that correctly, promoted myself back to sales and kind of hit the ground running because of our teaching and our coaching and our training process here. I, as the sales manager, was teaching salespeople through the program of psychology that we use here at the dealership. And I said to myself, I know in my heart, I can do this better than anyone else here and make more money selling cars than I can being a sales manager, following the process and the coaching that we have here and doing the things like they teach in all of our trainings, the things I was teaching the salespeople, the things that Chip preaches about, giving the customer all the information, doing things virtually, doing things online, not waiting for the customer to get here. I knew I could do that better. So I got out of management and hit the ground running. The caring car guy, to answer your question, that was a brand name that was given to me because of a lot of the things that I did with the community already, involvement in my church. It was a name that just kind of stuck. So I ran with it. That was pretty early on. And then from that, just decided, you know what, I'm going to basically brand myself literally with this as a persona. And I'm going to start really using that to not only market myself out there in the community, market myself on social media, but also let people know what my mission is and how they can also join me, not only just by having a great experience buying a car, but getting involved in the community that I get to serve in.
And it's funny that you say that, that people are getting involved. I mean, I found out about you because one of my coworkers follows you on social media and was like, I know everything about Jay. He just had a new baby. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
And, she's telling me all these things. And I was like, I want to be friends with Jay.
Are we yet? Are we friends yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Watch out. But you do so much in the community. And was it a chicken and an egg thing? Were you doing stuff in the community, sharing it on social, and then became the caring car guy? Or was it the other way around?
Yeah, so it was kind of like, when I was in management, right? So rewind, let's go back. If we had a time machine, we all got in it together. We went back to July of last year, July 3rd. I'll never forget the day. I went to my general manager and I said, Stan, that's my general manager, I don't want to be in management anymore, but let me tell you why. And basically to him, he's like, are you quitting? And I'm like, no. Like, I'm not quitting. This is what I want to do. He's like, so you're telling me you want to get out of management and go into sales? And I'm like, yeah. Which for a lot of people, that sounds crazy, right? Like a lot of salespeople like myself, they get manageritis and they want to get into finance or get into sales manager, become a general manager. And I'm like, no, you have the best seat in the house. So long story short, when I was in management, I didn't do a lot of stuff with my own social media as far as the things I did in the community. I did a lot of things in the community, but I didn't broadcast them on social media. It was just stuff that I was just doing because I was passionate about it. Mm-hmm. The name was kind of given to me by a personal friend. And he said, listen, if you're going to do this, like, this is what they should call you. Like, because that's just your personality, right? You're someone who just genuinely cares about people. You're the caring car guy. And it stuck. So I just ran with it. So to be honest, it wasn't like something I just woke up one morning out of sleep and was like, oh, I'm the caring car guy. Like, it was literally a name that was given to me, self-branded, and I ran with it. And I'm not going to say who it was, but I should say that they deserve some royalties from it.
Okay. So your following, it's pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, I try to treat so Facebook only allows you to have 5,000 friends, obviously, and I try to treat those as my 5,000, people who I truly want to be friends with for a purpose, right? Usually, it's most of them are customers or personal people that I know, people in the community. I don't normally add a lot of other salespeople just because they're never going to buy a car from me, right? And if I'm only going to be capped at 5,000 people, I need to make sure those 5,000 people are people who are going to benefit from my services the most, are people that I can truly reach to, right? So if you live in, North Dakota and you sell cars, I mean, you can follow me and I'll talk to you and stuff, but like, why should I use up one of my 5,000 friends to be friends with somebody who I can't ever sell a car to, I can't ever serve, right? And I'm not saying that in a selfish way, but as a piece of advice to anybody who wants to have a social media following, these are the types of things you have to start to think about. Who are you really friends with? Who is your audience? Are they the people who you actually can market yourself to, and people that you can actually serve and people you can actually help? Or are they, 395 of your friends, all other car salesmen, which will literally never buy a car from you?
Okay, fair enough. Okay, but you're following from your videos and all that kind of stuff that you're put out there, very, very fervent. Like Kyle said, people come into the dealership and they ask for the weatherman, but people come in just to buy a car from you. And I've heard a rumor that people even get tattoos on you. I don't know if that's true or not, but I hear you brought some proof.
Yes. Yep. So that was, I threw out a video one time. I was doing a video with a guy. He just bought a car for me and he had a bunch of tattoos, and he actually gave me the idea. He had a tattoo on his forearm, and I said, I really like that tattoo. And it was a pig on a surfboard. So he's really big into Hawaii. His name's Chris. He's a friend of mine. And I'm like, what's that about? Yeah, right. Mahalo. And I'm like, pig on a surfboard. Like, what is that? He's like, well, that's actually a logo for a barbecue restaurant on one of the islands. And if you get the tattoo, you get 25% off your meal for life. And I'm like, that gives me an idea, right? Aha. So I put out, I did a video with Chris and I offered it to him first, but he kind of ran out of space. Like his arms are full of tattoos. And I said, well, if anyone's willing to get a tattoo of my brand, my logo somewhere on them, somewhere visible, it can't be on like a covered cheek or something like that. It has to be visible. Chip's laughing. I mean, it doesn't count. I mean, how's anybody ever going to see that if it's on your bum? Like, so
we've descended into craziness.
Yeah. G-rated. I said bum. Come on. Long story short, I said I would give the first person who does this. I'll pay for your oil changes for the rest of your life, if you're willing to do it. And like within a day, a lady, a friend of mine, and a customer, she says, Jay, I got a tattoo appointment. I was gonna get something cool. It was like a wolf or something or a dog. I was like, but I'm doing this, and I'm like, proof or pics or it didn't happen, right? So I need proof. So she goes like a week later, gets the tattoo, posts it on Facebook, doesn't even send it to me first. She just posted it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And my wife was like, time out. Who's this person? Yeah, there's the picture. That was the first one. So I had to basically tell my wife, like,
you said the first one?
Yeah, yep. So that's the first person who got a tattoo. And then after that, I said, all right, only one person's getting this. My friend Trey, who also has quite a few tattoos. I don't know if, I think I sent the picture to you guys also. He got just the hashtag kind of right above his elbow. And he did that just because he's bought like 10 cars from me over the last, 8 or 9 years for him and his family. And he's a huge, like one of my biggest supporters. He actually works here locally in the Army recruiting center. So he's an Army recruiter, and he's down there with a bunch of guys who are also Army recruiters. There's like 10 of them. I go down there and buy them lunch once in a while and stuff like that. Wow. And he sends me a ton of referrals just from, you get an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid who just went out and enlisted. He's got a $20,000 signing bonus. And the first thing they say is, I'm buying a car. And by the grace of God, every time I'm like, listen, man. And I try to guide him with some like wisdom, like, let me help you not make a dumb decision because you live in Michigan and like that Mustang is really cool, but that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a good time. So yeah, those are the two tattoos. People ask me all the time if it's real. I'm like, yeah, it's real. That's not Photoshop. Like that's
wow.
So that is
impressive. I dare say no one has gotten a tattoo of me yet. People, wake up. All right. So we're quickly running out of time, and there's so many things that I really, really wanted to talk to you about, because in speaking with you before, one of the things that you said that really struck me was that salespeople should really lean upon the technology that's available to them. And I know, Chip, you also agree with this, whether it is video or lead response. I mean, what are the kinds of things that are really making a difference to you, Jay and Chip, with selling cars, especially in the year 2020? If you could both hit on that, would be great.
Who would you like to go first, myself or Chip?
Go ahead, Jay.
All right. So here's what I'll give you the very short version. Social media is huge, right? So if you're going to amass an audience and really build a social proof, that's where I would start. But additionally to that, and to tie into like, digital airstrike as a business and what it's done for even myself here at the dealership, not even necessarily as the dealership as a whole, what it's done for myself is it gives me the ability to increase my social proof online through giving customers an easier way. It's all about convenience, right? An easier way to leave a review, not for the dealership, but for me. So they go in there, they use the hashtag, it makes me more Googleable. It builds this social proof, this evidence that I'm the guy to see if you want to buy a car. And here's why. Here's all the people that have said all these things, right? So people and tools just like digital airstrike, that's been a huge piece to my success because it gives me the ability to have a customer leave me an honest review and help build my social proof very simply, right? It's like literally, oh, what's your phone number? Click, done. Pops right up on their phone. Like it's the easiest thing ever. It's simple.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about mobile review search. I love that you're using that. That's awesome. Chip, I feel like you have something to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that Jay said and that I'm really a proponent of is video. And I tell you, if anybody pays attention to video at all, look at TikTok. I mean, everybody is on TikTok now. My wife is on TikTok all the time. The thing is that video captures people. And if you really understand the old adage of, typing, an email to somebody or whatever, customers have a short attention span. They're not going to read a whole lot. So if you can grab them with a video of something, it truly gets them involved with you. And I would just tell anybody, invest in just a little bit of FaceTime. If you FaceTime and video with people, you'll win. You'll just win, just 100%. I wish I had it when I was selling cars back in the day.
How long ago was that?
A couple days ago.
A couple days ago. I know. Okay. Because one of the other things that you both had brought up to me was lead response. And while Megan had said, hey, if you're not using video in your lead response, heck, just lead response would be great because NADA data shows that there's like solid 30% of dealerships who don't even get back to all the leads within a 48-hour period, if ever. So talk to us a little bit about how lead response has really made a difference, especially now when people are online more than ever and they want that Amazon experience. And it honestly seems like if you're the first person to get back to them with the information that they're looking for, you're going to win.
Absolutely. And we've partnered with, Response Logic to help us out with that. And it really does help. The one thing I will say is that so many dealers are worried about getting the customer the wrong information. Like, I didn't include this rebate or that incentive or whatever. That's not what you need. What you need is to engage the customer. And when they have something in front of them that they can look at, that they can see, that they can have a question about, is when you start to win. Because that's when the back and forth happens, is when there's questions. If there's never a question, if there's never anything for them to sink their teeth into, you will never win. So absolutely, find a way to get that information to the customer quicker than anybody else, but get them information that they can sink their teeth into. Not just the one-liner of, hey, thanks for your interest in a car. How can I help you? Because you can't help them with that. That's not engaging the customer. And that's why we're so, involved with video and stuff like that to follow up. And really, really, really important is to make sure the consumer knows what's the next step, because they don't know. You send them all this information. They're like, okay, I got the information. Now what? Make sure to put that in there, because when you put that in there, you absolutely will get more two-way conversation.
I love that. So let's get back to you a little bit, Jay. You sell a lot of cars in a month.
Sure.
True. Okay. So look, in the half hour that I spent with you before getting ready for this broadcast, I saw you on your computer, on your phone. I saw you with somebody sitting right in front of you in your office. You are never far from that connectivity. Where are you? Are you doing TikTok and Snapchat and Facebook and Twitter? Like what?
So for me, I'm just an old school Facebook guy, and I have a tool that I use with a company called Build a Brand, where I have my own digital business card. It's like a mobile app. I have a website, stuff like that. I know car salesmen.
Wait, you have your own website. Your own website.
I'll throw a comment here. It's carryingcarguy.com. Yes. And, yeah.
I love it.
Check it out.
So TikTok's big right now, and I know a car salesman. He actually has 1.3 million followers on TikTok. He was actually kind of TikTok famous before getting into car sales. So hey, there it is. What do you know? That's actually my wife, because she was easy to convince to take a picture. That's
great.
a good friend of mine. Yep. So there you go. So yeah, for me, my biggest thing is social media wise is Facebook. I've tried Instagram before. It doesn't really work as great for what I'm trying to do. Facebook is the easiest way to connect with a wide demographic of people, because not everybody's on TikTok, not everybody's on Twitter, not everybody's on Instagram. Most people generally are on Facebook, especially of different ages and things of that nature. So I'm all about Facebook, doing the videos with customers, live testimonials. And to go back to Chip's point about video, right, or to your previous question, like even if I have a customer who's not an internet-based lead that inquired about a vehicle that came in, I'm always sending videos anyways, because I like to give people my tonality and my voice. Because if they were connected to me on Facebook, but they've never met me, they don't know my demeanor, they don't know my voice, they don't know my face. All they know is like, here's this guy I see that sells a lot of cars on Facebook, and he has dogs, or whatever my profile is. That's like face value, right? So to Chip's point, like I'll give you for example of a real thing that I send to customers all the time. I say, hey, hello, my name's Jay Russell. They call me the Carrying Car Guy. You don't know me, but you know Bob, who connected us. My job is to be 100% transparent and give you all the information that you need, not just to make a decision, but make an educated one. So any questions you have for me, I'm going to give you all the information ahead of time. This is your buying process, not my selling process. So whatever that looks like for you, whether you want to do everything up front and ahead of time, or rather you come to the car dealership, I'm happy to do it whichever way works better for you. And that's just a very generic, like me sending them a message, and then they'll send me back, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And guess what happens? No one says, Jay, I really just want to come to the dealership. Maybe like 1 out of 100. Because here I am lobbing them up a choice, right? Which would you prefer to do? Would you rather come to the dealership, or would you rather me give you all the information now? And they're like, now, please? Like, you know what I mean? No one says, hey, Jay, yeah, I'm actually down the street. I want to like come spend the whole day with you because you're awesome. I wish, but no. So to Chip's point, video is hands down. If you're not doing video, even in a text message or to your first response to an internet lead, like I don't know what you're doing. Like, the old days of, hey, the vehicle's still here. What information would you like? If they even get that, right? Like they probably already know the information. They're online. Like you can literally Google anything. Like I can find out every single star in the whole solar system. Like if I wanted to know that, it's there. What is a car salesman going to tell me, the customer, about the car that I've been looking at online for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month that I don't already know? That's what, to Megan's point, selling cars is easy. Anybody can do it. It's not that hard. And the reason for that is we have more educated buyers and more people in the market right now who know more about what they want to buy and probably know more about the car than I do than ever before, ever in the history, because of this thing called the internet. There's like a very small, tiny piece of the marketplace anymore where they're not shopping online before they come to the dealership. Like even if it's a customer who's referred to me, I guarantee you they've already been online. They know what they want. They know what they're going to pay. They know who I am. They know about the dealership. They probably know who Chip Diggs is. Like they know all that. That's the scope of reality, right? Like you can go online and find all these things out. Our job essentially is to just help give them any of the information they don't already have and make it the process as simple and easy as the way they would like it to be, not the way I want to do it.
Exactly.
Sorry, that was a rant.
I'm done. I got nothing else. You already said the last question, which I was going to ask you, which was, what's the one piece of advice you can give to other salespeople to help them move cars? And you said video. So thank you so much for that. Any last pieces of advice? And we'll bring in shout out to, look at this beautiful, talented Seelye team that I have here. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Sharing what you're doing at Seelye. It is not the norm, but darn it if it isn't working for you. And you know what? I bet it would work for other dealerships too. And thank you so much for sharing all of that today. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. Thanks, Eliana. It was fun.
Oh my gosh, you
Thank
guys are great.
you.
Keep selling cars because you know what? Q4 is the biggest quarter of the year, and I expect to hear great things and awesome numbers from all of you, and of course from our good friends over at Seelye Auto Group.
Thanks, Eliana.
Thanks, Eliana.
Thank you so much. Audience, you have just heard from Seelye Automotive Group. Check them all out online. We got Megan the Dream Maker Edwards. You're going to hear some big things about her in the future. Kyle the Weatherman Shirley, always the person to turn to when you find out if it's a good day to buy a car. And Jay the Caring Car Guy, Rustin Holtz, and not to be outdone, Chip Diggs over there running the show over there for internet sales and everything having to do with marketing as well. So check them all out online. Follow them on LinkedIn, social media. They're always a great time. And for the rest of you who would like to know more about what we're doing over here at Digital Airstrike, please check us out at digitalairstrike.com. I want to let you know I'll be doing a broadcast tomorrow. Our webinar tomorrow is end of year holiday ad campaigns that you'll love. You see what I did there? Oh yeah, we're going to help you slay your Q4. I know, I'm so punny, but it's going to be a great one. So go to digitalairstrike.com/webinars to register for that awesome broadcast tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there or on another broadcast in our education series. Take care, everyone. For right now, on behalf of all of the good folks over at Seelye Auto Group, as well as my co-workers at Digital Airstrike, please, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, stay hopeful, and we'll catch you on another broadcast soon. Take care, everyone.
See ya.